My name is Francesca Bewet, and I am the director of the Sister Program at Queensborough Community College. I am here today to introduce the team, the presenters, and also to welcome you. So today we'll be speaking about the benefits of getting involved in research and why it's important to join as early as possible. And with me, I'll have Dr. John Patterson, also from Queensborough Community College, Dr. Romel Robertson, Miss Malika Mothena, and Miss Amanda Joy Wright. They are both graduated from Queensborough and moved on, but they are going to share with you their experience at QCC as research students. Welcome, everybody. Next slide, please. Oh. And our agenda for today is going to be, again, introductions. Then we'll touch on the definition of research for this context. Then we'll go into discussions about obstacles and benefits of how to get involved in research and what to gain from it. Then we'll have a Q&A session before we wrap up. Next slide, please. All right, so I'm also here today. Again, my name is Francesca Bewet, and I'm the director of the Sister Program. I've been working at Queensborough Community College for the past 18 years. And prior to becoming director, I was the internship and research coordinator, where my main role was to identify opportunities on campus and match the students that were eligible for those opportunities. So it was really it's been a fun journey. Next slide.
Hi, everyone. I'm Joan Peterson. As Francesca mentioned, I'm a professor in the biology department at Queensborough. I've been there since 2002. And for many years now, I've been mentoring students both one-on-one in research projects, as well as doing course-based research where the whole class is involved in a research project. And I'm currently the undergraduate research coordinator on campus. So I help kind of promote and try to get other faculty and students involved in research on campus. But today we're going to try to get all of you involved in doing research as well. And I also run the college's environmental science program. So welcome, and I'm happy to see all of you here.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Romel Robertson, and I am an assistant professor of psychology in the social science department at Queensborough Community College. I also mentor students in research at the course level, also in a laboratory setting, and we do it both at the individual level, group level, in terms of involving students in the class research. I'm also the co-advisor to the QCC chapter of Psi Beta Honor Society, which is an honor society for students interested in pursuing a career in psychology. But that sort of membership into Psi Beta is only for community college students. So for our community college students joining us today, if you're interested in psychology, I would also recommend reaching out on your campus to find out if there's a chapter of the Psi Beta Honor Society. And you'll see me later on during the presentation. So.
Hello, my name is Malika Mothena. I'm a QCC alumni. I gained research experience when I worked one-on-one with Dr. Robertson, who mentored me through research as an out-of-the-classroom project. It's also called Traditional Lab. And also in classroom research, also with Dr. Robertson as part of the class research methods. I received my associate's degree at Queensborough, where I majored in liberal arts, and currently attending Queen's College, where I'm majoring in applied linguistics TESOL. I can briefly give you an insight into how I got involved in research. So in my freshman year at Queensborough Community College in 2018, I took Psych 101 with Dr. Robertson. Whenever we took an exam, he used to tell us to write at the back of the test tantrum the number of minutes or hours we took to study and whether or not we listened to music while studying. So In my third semester, my last year at QCC, I emailed Dr. Robertson and I asked him about the results. He said that he hadn't got to doing them yet. So he told me that I could help in finding the results and get involved in the research projects under his mentorship. That was my first time finding out that I can help with research project despite majoring in liberal arts and not STEM. So I worked with Dr. Robertson, who taught me how to use SPSS and patiently mentored me through the entire process, which I needed because I've never done research, never thought about doing one, and didn't know how to. So the main idea here is getting involved in research can be simply out of curiosity and the desire to seek knowledge. I will speak more about the obstacles and benefits that I face later on. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Amanda Wright. I'm a former QCC student. At QCC, I majored in psychology. I was an undergraduate research assistant under Dr. Robertson, who just introduced himself. I was able to do classroom research where I created a poster and was able to present it at Queensborough's Undergraduate Research Day. I also was a research fellow for the Summer Intensive Research Program, which taught us the basics of the research process. And I also was president of the psychology club for a couple of semesters. So with all of that experience, I was able to transfer to Cornell University, where I earned my bachelor's degree in psychology in May of 2020. And now I will be returning in the fall back to Cornell to earn my master's degree in developmental psychology.
Okay, so before we get started trying to convince you to get involved in research, I'd first like to know, and just as an aside, I see people are saying hi in the chat and saying where they're from, which is great. Please continue to do so. I'm seeing a lot of California. I don't know if we made it aware at the beginning that we're in New York City, so we're on the other side of the country, and it's mid-afternoon here for us. But yes, please continue letting us know where you're from. So just to get us started here, I wanted to know, when you hear the term research, are we familiar with what that term would mean for a student? When you hear someone say, get involved in research, what does that mean to you? What are some thoughts that come to mind? You can type in the chat, or I guess, I don't know if they can come on mic too. Anybody have any thoughts on that? What does that word mean? What's the first thing that comes to mind? All right, Ray says doing experiments about what you were interested in. All right, that's a good answer. Anything else? Or does anyone feel that they're not really sure what research is? All right, Jorge says research typically means being able to do some sort of field work related to what you're interested in. All right, trying to answer a question, Carlos, that's good. All right, any other thoughts on that? Testing new hypotheses. Good, Bruce, that's a good answer too. All right, and before we go on, I'm just interested to know, is there anyone that has already gotten involved in research at their college? Ashley says collecting specific data. Yep, that's certainly part of it too. Anyone currently doing research? Oh, I thought I recognized the name. This is one of my students. Hello, Kanita. Yay. All right, so let's go to the next slide, and I'm just going to show you briefly. This is when you look up, the dictionary definition. This is from Oxford Languages of Research. We have a noun and a verb form, so we can talk about research as a thing, and we can also talk about doing about the verb research, the action, right? So here's some words: investigation, experimentation, testing. These are some of the things that you spoke about, right? Inquiries, studies, analyses, experiments. That's true in some disciplines, not all, right? And then as a verb, we say we investigate, we study, we probe, we assess, we explore, we scrutinize, right? So there's lots of different ways to think about research. Next slide. So undergraduate research, all right, this is the piece that anyone can do research. And often we think about the scholars, right? The faculty members that are teaching you or involved in research, but undergraduates could and should be involved in research as well. So this is a definition from the Council on Undergraduate Research, which says that research is an inquiry or investigation conducted by an undergraduate student, that's you guys, that makes an original intellectual or creative contribution to the discipline. All right, so you're digging into something deeper to find out more information about a topic of something that you're interested in learning about.
Okay.
Right.
So let's do a little bit of reflection right now. Maybe try to search your memory for what I'm about to talk about right now, which is sort of the different types of undergraduate research experiences that may be available to you. Just so as we're going through the list, I want you to think about yourself being on your campus. Have I heard about this before on my campus, right? Is this something that is available to me? So with regard to the different types of opportunities for you to engage in undergraduate research, we do have the course-based research, which is professor, while teaching a regular course, decides to embed a research project into the course. So in my teaching of psychology, I do that both in my research methods course and my social psychology course. Now my social psychology course is not even research-based. It's just I create a very quick survey project that I allow students to, sort of choose different survey topics, and they go out and they administer the survey, and they come back in and they I help them analyze the results, and they present the results to the rest of the class. So the course-based research can be individual, meaning in my research methods course, students do it individually. So they choose their own topic and they write their own paper, they do their own presentation on their findings. We also have group work, which is what I do in social psychology. Given that it's not a research course, I have them work together in groups to do the same survey, same design, same set of materials, but they're now doing a presentation as a group. So it's one option that you have available to you. We also do have the traditional sort of mentored research, which is part of a larger project. Maybe you go to a laboratory where research is being conducted in your field, and you ask the professor, is it possible to work with you and get involved? In fact, there are specific programs such as REU programs, research for experiences for undergraduate students, where you get funded to do your own, to work with someone who can guide you through a research project. Okay, whether it's part of their the faculty's original project, or you sit with the faculty member, and yes, you can come up with your own ideas and get the faculty to mentor you to answer a research question that you have that you came up with on your own. There's also student-centered research such as independent studies and honor projects, which you can embed sort of in a regular class where you say, I want to take this class for honors. Can I do a research project in addition to studying the material? But there are also in some schools courses that are specifically designated as honors projects. So you would sign up for that, and you would work with a faculty member throughout the semester, working on designing a research project and collecting data, or whatever you guys agree to do. Maybe it just ends at with you doing a literature review or carrying out the project all the way to the end. And then these independent studies. I know we do have in our program independent studies where a student who wants to do a project can sign up with the faculty and also do this not for honors, but just as an independent project. Now, we also have employer-based research programs. So these can include internships and collaboration projects where you go out into the real world and you work with organizations that are doing research, and you get experience that way. So there are apprenticeships that you can also do where you can go out and learn to become a researcher. So you shadow someone in a laboratory and you help out and you learn how to do research in that particular field. And then finally, we have the STEM design challenges and competitions, which are programs sort of designed they offer incentives for students to go out and come up with creative ways to solve real world problems. So these are competitions where some funding agency might say, we'll give you money if you can figure out a solution to getting rid of plastics in the ocean. And so you design a study to sort of work through how we could stop plastics from getting into the ocean. And maybe you design some sort of contraption that can capture plastics before they get into the ocean. And sort of using this as an example, these are some of the different types of experiences. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in the chat all of the a quick survey that I'm going to ask you to do. Which is, if I can do this really quickly, let me get my chat screen up. Just tell me which of the ones you see on the screen or on the survey, which is sort of a mirror that you've heard of, or and this is survey 1, so you're only going to complete survey number 1. Let's see if that works. So this is your awareness of UR experiences, undergraduate researchers. So you can click on the survey link and just check which ones you've ever heard of before, which ones you are familiar with, maybe from your campus. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to exit and just take a quick look at, if I can do this really quickly, just take a quick look at what students are responding. So here we go. So a number of you are course-based research. That's awesome. I guess a lot more faculty are doing that. Okay, so let's see how many of you are in here, and we'll just get a sense of, there are 29 of you in here and minus 5 individuals, 6 individuals who are hosts. All right. So this is encouraging to see. A lot of students are aware of the course-based research. This is really promising to see, because sometimes this is where it starts, right? You participate in a course-based research project, and then you get excited about it. So I will tell you, I have a current student who presented at a symposium that we had last Friday, and he participated in the group project in my social psych class, became interested, and took his project and continued it outside of the class. So even though he was no longer in my class, following semester, he took the project, built on the project, and made it his own, and presented at this symposium. So there are opportunities. Now, let's stop for a second and think about the obstacles that might prevent you from getting involved in the research. And what we'd like you to do is another survey. Now, this is the second survey, so I'm going to put it again in the chat just for anyone who just came in, but that's survey number 2. If you can fill that one out for us, please. Here we go. And while you're doing that, you will go back and take a look at what you're reporting as some of the challenges. What are some of the things you think that would prevent you from getting involved in research when we ask about obstacles? All right, so let's take a look at your responses. Not knowing how to start. That's yeah. And we're gonna try to give you some ideas as to how to get over that one. Don't think my grades are good enough. Okay, that's a common one. I think so. Not knowing where to start seems to be the big one. That everyone, and the grades. Okay, I don't understand the importance. Never heard. Those are at the bottom. I have too many commitments. That says we're from a commuter college, so we know about commitments with our students. Sometimes they travel for hours to get to campus, and then they work and they take full load of classes, and so it's they have a lot of obligations outside of just showing up to classes. All right, so let's get back. Let me find my way back, and let's have a discussion about the obstacles. So Malika, Amanda, and Malika will share their experiences.
Okay, obstacles to doing research. So before we get into all these bullet points, I think it's worth mentioning, and just to preface, this may not apply to everybody, but even if it just relates to one person, I think it's worth saying. one of the keys to succeeding in community college in general is to really be confident in who you are and your institution, letting go of the stigma that may come with attending a community college, letting go of the insecurities, the embarrassment sometimes. There's a lot of misconception about community college, and everyone attends a community college or has attended a community college for a variety of different reasons, and none of them are anything to be ashamed of. So I think once you develop that confidence in not only yourself and your institution, you'll see that there are a lot of opportunities, a lot of great experiences, a lot of great people to meet, connections to make. And I think that you'll really thrive. I think being, ashamed sometimes or just like internalizing those misconceptions can make you kind of see community college as like or put it in a box. But and that's definitely something I had to overcome. Like, I used to think that going to a four-year college was like the traditional route. But once I let go of that and once I really started to see my community college for what it was, I was able to really thrive. And it still stands as one of the best opportunities I've ever had in my education. So don't be ashamed. So yeah. Oh. So the first one is, I don't know how to start that conversation with someone on campus. So something that I think we'll all reiterate throughout this slide and for the rest of the slides to come is to ask. Keep asking, always ask your professors, ask your counselors, ask other students, ask the faculty in the department that you are associated with. No one is expecting you to know anything about research really, especially as a first year student. So definitely inquire, be curious, look at your school's webpage to see if you can find any research opportunities in your department, schedule those Zoom meetings, go to office hours, really start talking to the professors that you enjoy going to class, or the class that you enjoy the most, I guess. Start talking to those professors, getting to know them, forming those connections, and just start that conversation.
Can I share one obstacle that I faced? I can relate to the first one, that I didn't know how to start, like getting into research in the survey that we just completed. So for me, it was the lack of awareness. I didn't know that I can get involved in research with my major being liberal arts. I thought that I had to be in the STEM or social sciences. And in a way, I was standing in my own way because I could have been more proactive and not fearing to approach professors. And I should have remained connected with my professors whose classes I took. But at the end, at least I became proactive due to interest and curiosity in the results. And what matters is to take initiative and ask about the results and a part of the problem is that there's not much of awareness and research opportunities for those majoring in other majors other than STEM, in my opinion. So this is why it's so crucial to be proactive and ask about opportunities to get involved in research. So luckily for you who are attending this workshop, who are being proactive by attending this workshop, you can learn early that you can get involved in research, no matter despite your major or whether or not you've previously got involved in research. So just pursue your interests and ask around and remain connected with your professors.
Yeah. And it, just quickly, I'll add, I'm not supposed to talk here, but I'll just add from the faculty perspective, it is, your grades are not good enough. If they're not, bring them up. And then if a faculty requires you to have a certain GPA, take a couple classes, do well, and then come back. Don't give up. Don't give up. Right. And just remember, faculty and your professors are human beings, so you can approach them and they'll talk to you. So just remember that, to be proactive. So what are the major benefits to getting involved in research? You can put your answers in the chat. What do you think? Relationships. So increased relationships. Yes, experience in your field. What better way to test out your field than to do research in that field and see if you're really passionate about it? Yeah, and by succeeding when you do research and you do really well in it, it increases your knowledge and increases your confidence. That is correct. Yes. And you can solve, yes, you most certainly can solve real world problems. Anyone else that I missed? Gain experience, gain experience. Someone said medical school applications. Yes, even you know, a lot of places, a lot of majors, you know, in the STEM required, you know, it will definitely be helpful to have the research. I mean, you're not doomed if you don't, but you can always get it at the 4-year college, but it's never too early to start. And so let's talk about some of the benefits and look for the overlaps between your responses and what Amanda and Malika are going to talk about.
So yeah, I've seen a lot of experience mentioned and developing relationships, which is great. And I can definitely relate to those. So for the first point here, gain real world experience and increased knowledge and skills. From my own experience, we usually learn about research process in the classroom. And all I know personally is we first develop research questions, formulate a hypothesis, test hypothesis, etc., etc. But actually getting involved in research, I gained firsthand experience learning the research process, entering the data into SPSS, analyzing the data, searching for appropriate articles, which is also helpful when you are doing research papers for other classes. I learned putting the poster together, which I helped with Dr. Robertson for the Undergraduate Research Day presentation. It's more valuable to learn by doing, right? So it's important to take the opportunity to ask the professors for with questions and pick their brains, basically. So another point is that you can expand your professional network. So it is important to network. From my own experience, that's the most beneficial thing, because you can develop rapport with your professors who will expose you to many opportunities, including other research opportunities, programs, and connecting you to other professors and students. And then you'll be able to develop relationship with other students and be able to network. Gain confidence to speak to other professors. You'll develop the ability to become even more proactive, to seek knowledge and other opportunities, to build your resume, scholarship eligibility, and having the confidence to pursue, personally, I've gained the confidence to pursue my BA, which is my bachelor's degree in applied linguistics currently, and apply for transfer honors program, which I got accepted into at Queens College. And I had the confidence to enroll in all of those because of the experience I gained from doing research. Another point is that you'll be able to receive recommendation letters from professors who really know you. Will be able to write recommendation letters who, as a person who you are and your achievements. Another point is that you'll be able to define your career interests and develop strong communication and interpersonal skills. Gain opportunities to travel to new places and be exposed to new cultures. There's the program Fulbright. I'm sure many of you have heard of it. It's great because you'll be able to do independent research and travel to other countries. You'll be able to connect with fellow students. It's about networking, and also develop long life friends. Some research opportunities are also paid, so which is great. Do you want to share anything, Amanda?
Oh, I was going to reiterate that I think in gaining experience in research, it gives you a very unique perspective and very unique look into your field, because before I did research, you know, I was just doing courses and I didn't know much about research. But once I had the opportunity to do research in the classroom and also under the supervision of some professors, it completely changed my trajectory in my education. I went from not wanting to do research at all to solely doing research in graduate school. So definitely, even if you don't think that it's for you, give it a shot. Um, inquire about it, because you never know, you may like it. Because in the classroom, you know, even though there are classroom opportunities for research, being in a lab, or, you know, kind of having a hands-on experience with research can give you a very different perspective of your field. Um, definitely helps with community. Oh,
No, no, go ahead. You can finish now. I was just getting.
Go back, because I want to say something about that past slide
Oh,
too.
sorry. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, no, go back. Yeah, go back to that one when Amanda's finished.
yeah. Also, communication and interpersonal skills. I used to be very shy. So I was not talking to professors. I was not reaching out. But now I can do presentations. I can go to conferences. I can present my research that I've done. And it really took doing research in community college for me to develop that confidence in speaking, and the confidence that I've gained um, in my skills and my ability to do research in my field. So not only will it help with experience, as Malika said, it helps with letters of recommendations. Because I work with Dr. Robertson, I was able to get, you know, a couple letters of recommendations for not only college, but also graduate school. So make those connections, and definitely challenge yourself. It can seem intimidating, especially if you are a shy person. But, you know, as Dr. Robertson said, they are people too. And I think professors really enjoy having those conversations with students, and students who are curious and honest about, you know, where they stand with research, how much they know and don't know. But yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to add something on to what you were saying, and then actually coming direct right from you were saying about the confidence. I mean, we see the way Amanda is speaking. She's obviously very comfortable, and she might not have started out that way. I didn't do research until I was in graduate school, and I was so nervous when I was presenting. It was, you know, like off the charts nervous. And so, you know, I got past it, but I didn't do that till grad school. Why not get that out of the way now? You know, and you really do, you know, learn, yeah, the first time it's going to be tough if you are a shy person. Uh, but sooner or later, you're going to have to do it. So why not, you know, hone those skills, start working on that while you're in the community college, right? Because we're trying to convince you not to think about doing research later on, but getting involved now. There's so much benefit that you can get out of not delaying that. You know, I think maybe sometimes students think, well, I'll do that when I get to my 4-year school, or I'm not ready for that yet. But you really can get a lot of very positive things out of getting involved in research sooner rather than later. And as I mentioned too, I started in grad school. I went into grad school thinking I'm going to do animal behavior studies. That's my field. That's what I want to do. Did a project in that, and my first or second semester was like, oh no, I can't do this. Right? So I can help you like define, yes, this is what I thought I wanted to do, and yeah, this is really what I want to do. Or it might also help you say, I thought I kind of wanted to do this, but now that I've had a taste of doing research in that field, maybe that's not the best choice for me. So it helps you get that stuff out of the way sooner too, to kind of, you know, define what you're actually interested in pursuing in the future.
Yeah. Okay. I'll just add, as we're transitioning here, when we talk about letters of recommendations and stronger letters of recommendations, but you don't want a letter of recommendation where a professor is just saying, student took a course with me, got an A, right? You want by working with a faculty member, they get to know you, so they can say, oh, I know the student wants to pursue this, is very interested in this particular area. This is what we mean by a stronger letter of recommendation. They write from a very personal perspective, not from this sort of very generic, took my class, got an A, and did well. That's it. So what are some of the tips for getting started?
All right, so our first tip that we have up there is to do well in your classes and to demonstrate commitment, right, and discipline. And so that's important. Of course, good grades are important, but again, I think Dr. Robertson said earlier, you know, don't worry if your grades are not perfect, that, oh, I got to be in that person's class. They're not going to want to do research with me. Talk to them, right? A lot of times, the more committed, the more involved you are, even doing that research is going to help you do better in your classes, and you'll understand the practical applications of what you're learning about in theory a lot more. So you do want to focus on keeping your grades up for sure. That will help you with everything. But don't be afraid if, you know, your grades are marginal, that you might still have an opportunity to do research.
Okay.
Brave. Approach professors to ask if they or someone they know are looking for students for a research project. So again, as I said, I was very shy in community college. I really had to push myself to reach out and talk to professors, even not even about research, but just about my courses. So definitely challenge yourself. I know it's hard. I know it can be very intimidating, but the payoff is well worth it. Um, yeah, make those connections, talk to professors, go to office hours, even just work your way up, start off small and have a small conversation about something going on in class, and then work your way up to asking them about research opportunities, or even just talk about your own interests, and they may find an opportunity that fits what you have expressed to them. So definitely push yourself a bit outside your comfort zone, because pushing yourself outside your comfort zone is never a bad thing, and it always pays off, especially in research and education.
Right.
You can also,
Another point is, oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead, go ahead. No, it's your turn.
I was going to say another point is to search your college website for research opportunities. Sometimes it's as simple as going to your college website and any college websites that you may be interested in going next to, and then you go on the search box and type in the word research and see what comes up associated with that word. Type the word internship, right? And see what comes up. And sometimes the colleges, most of the times, they have a career services website as well, right? They have a department there where they most likely will have the listed opportunities. So inquire about what's available to you, because sometimes you spend a lot of time outside looking for the resource. Meanwhile, it's right here at your house, right? So definitely ask questions.
Yeah.
Yes, the program as well. Yes.
You also want to go to your department and just ask the chairs of your department, the secretaries in the department, or any faculty you see walking around. Do you know of anyone in your department who's conducting research? Simple question. The difficult part might be working up the nerves to ask, but remember they're human beings, and most faculty will respond in kind and will direct you. And if they don't know, they'll probably send you someone who can help you.
Mm-hmm. Be open-minded and willing to consider assisting in a research project outside of your main interest or comfort zone. So the first research project I ever did in community college was not in line with my own interest. I think Dr. Robertson and I did a project on education, and I'm in psychology, so I really wanted to study mental health. So I was a bit apprehensive about doing it, but he pushed me, and it was really an opportunity for me to learn the foundations of research, you know, like transcription, collecting data and stuff like that. So even if it isn't necessarily in line with what you want to do, the experience and learning about the foundations of research is very beneficial no matter what you're doing. And, you know, moving forward in your education, if you'd like to transfer to a different school, a lot of schools like any type of research that you do, but yeah. And also with your comfort zone, doing things outside of your comfort zone can also help you realize what you may like, what you don't like. So definitely don't be afraid to do something that you kind of feel apprehensive about, and you can really get a feel for what fits you and what you want to do in the future.
Another point is that you should communicate with peers who are involved in research, and that'll help you not only with networking, but also with connecting you and teaching you about other opportunities that you could get involved in. Getting involved in clubs, activities, and special events on campus is also crucial, because not only will you be able to build your resume, but also network and connect with other individuals who are involved in different opportunities that you can learn about.
Yeah, that's a good way to meet other faculty members that are maybe not your teachers, that you would meet at a club. Maybe they're the club advisor, or you know, they're attending a seminar or giving a seminar, and so that will even take you out, you know, further into meeting other people that are not just the folks that you're in class with. So that's a great way to expand your network as well. All right. So I guess at this point we can kind of open up for questions or discussion.
Yes, the recording should be available later.
Yes.
Anyone else?
Have any thoughts? Still feeling nervous about getting involved in research, or how are you feeling about these ideas that we shared with you.
As you're typing your questions or thinking about your question, just remember keyword proactive, right? So reaching out, taking the initiative to ask. They can say no, you move on to the next professor. And they say no, you move on to the next professor until you find someone who says yes, right? But
usually the ones that would say no will say, oh, no, but I suggest you contact this person, because
right.
departments even have research coordinators. And they might not be the right person, but they could point you to who to
Yeah.
go to.
Kristen has a question.
Yes.
It's not really a question, but it's more of like a comment to what you guys were saying about research programs. I feel like it's very important because it helps you to become a well-rounded student. Academics are very good and all, but it's good to have like outside information too, in order to build up your skills for future careers after you graduate from school. So I think the research program is like very helpful for you in order to become a well-rounded student. And those are some of my goals as well too. So
Yeah,
Right.
thank you for sharing. Yeah. Someone's asking, what if I'm interested in doing, so what if you're, the thing about doing research that you know a little about is that you're going to learn. So I don't think anyone who, especially at the community college level, but even that happened to me at the four-year college. I just heard research opportunity and I went in not knowing anything about the project, and I learned about it, so that even if you're not interested in it, you can learn to like it, but you can also complete the project, learn about the experience of doing research, and just say, okay, well, I know now that's not for me. I'll find some other area of doing, that I'm more interested in doing research. But guess what? You're taking away the fact that you've learned how to do research in that particular field. So don't be too worried that if it's not completely what you're interested in. Just be open to learning about the process, and you might become interested in a topic. So
Right. Or if you feel like your background is not strong in that area, again, that's the time that you can talk to the professor and say, I'm really interested in this topic. I don't have a good background information, a good background. What do you recommend? And they can give you resources. A lot of times when we're starting out with a student who doesn't have a great background very often that's pretty common, that we have students that come in that are interested, but they don't have a lot of background in the field. The beginning few weeks and months are reading. You get reading assignments and go over and have discussions about the type of work that faculty member is doing that you would be getting involved with if you work with them, and then you have discussions about it, and that's how you kind of build your knowledge, your background knowledge about the topic. And even whatever you learn, there's always more to learn going forward. That's why we all do the research, because we don't know everything. So I would just approach someone who's doing environmental science research. Yeah, environmental science research. That's what I do.
Before we run out of time, I just want to get those two questions in.
Yeah,
so do most research programs start in the summer? No, research can happen at any time, but you just have to approach the professor. It may run into the summer, or some of them may start in the summer and run into the fall and the spring, but it begins when you ask, is the answer to this question. The other question really quickly is getting involved in clinical research. If you want to stick around, I can answer that one specifically as it relates to psychology, or if you were talking about different type of clinical research. Because of the sensitive nature of clinical research, it's usually a little bit more difficult to get into, especially in psychology, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't ask. So if you get involved with a professor who is involved in clinical research, that could be your gateway to getting involved in more elaborate clinical research later on. So just you get the experience by doing the research that will qualify you for the clinical research experience that you're seeking that's outside of campus possibly.
Right.
And I was also going to say, thoughts on research projects outside of a college. I had no luck finding a professor at my school. Definitely taking advantage of research outside of school is good too. I know a lot of, as Dr. Robertson said, there are very specific requirements sometimes doing research. So definitely, if you are able to, take advantage of any opportunity that you have, because I don't think, especially in the beginning, any research is bad research. because I think a lot of graduate schools and colleges moving forward really just like how students are able to stand out, because everyone is doing coursework, you know. So if you're able to do something that's a bit unique, you know, research, you really have to go out your way to inquire about. I don't think there's anything wrong with stepping outside of your actual school if there's no opportunities to find some experience.
Yeah, and a lot of times someone said here, do you recommend looking for volunteer positions in labs? Yes, that's how you start. If there's no research assistant position, start as a volunteer. And we did not mention, there's a link that's posted, pathways2science.org, in the chat. Please do copy it. No, we did not talk about it, but we're mentioning it now, and so students can start there also to sort of get ideas. To you know, to when you're looking for opportunities as a community college student.
Yeah, that's a great resource. Malika, are you raising
Thank
your
you for
Right. So I think it's really great to start getting involved in research while in the community college, because once you get in like the four-year college, a lot of professors are busy or involved in their own research projects. So yeah, you might start getting involved in research while in community college. Easier and better.
Community college professors are very nice,
Mhm.
so definitely get involved as early as possible, because as Malika said, a lot of professors in four-year college are doing their own thing. So at that point, like it is very beneficial to know how to talk to professors, how to approach them, because you'll definitely stand out. They definitely want people who have a little bit of experience going
Yeah.
into 4 year.
Because you have at the four-year schools too, if it's a four-year school with a graduate program, a lot of those research opportunities to work with a faculty member are going to go to a graduate student, and maybe not as many undergraduates, but at community college, you're it, right? You're the pool of students that we have to work with. And so we're always very happy when a student approaches us and wants to get it. I actually started doing research on campus. I wasn't doing it when I first came to Queensborough. I had a student, I actually was a high school student who approached me and said, will you be my research mentor? And I'm like, well, gee, okay, let's figure something out. And that's how it grew for me, you know, that it came from a student approaching me. So yeah, definitely I would, you know, get involved now where you are, if you can. If it's not an option, we do sometimes have obstacles in that we don't have the facilities, right? A community college is not really set up for a lot of scientific research. So some faculty members have partners at other schools, and those might be options as well. That if you talk to someone at your school and say, well, I don't have a facility, but I have a collaborator who works here, maybe they have a spot for you.
Yeah, and
I
just
was also going to add that sometimes, you know, you can be scared and intimidated. At the end of the day, you receive emails from your schools about different events and different opportunities. You may not know what it's all about, but if you show up, you start learning more, right? Most of the time, you just show up and you hear what other students are doing, and then you can have questions about what they're doing. How can I be on that stage next year, right? So show up when they invite you.
Yeah.
Be curious.
Yeah. Remember, at the community college level, there is no expectation, or there's very limited expectation that you will have taken a research methods course, right? Unless you're in a major like psychology or you're in a STEM field. So when you're, just be honest, when you're looking for a research position, you say, hi, Professor X, I've never taken a research course, but I'm interested in learning about research. Do you have any opportunities available in your laboratory? I'm willing to start at the very bottom. I can assist, I can shadow, I can do, you know, anything you would need me to do in the laboratory, so that I can be present to learn about the process. And as it relates to outside college sort of research experiences, you know, if you can start early, by getting involved at the community college level with research, then it increases your chances of going out and getting industry, you know, sort of experience. Because outside of the college, there's the expectation that you have some sort of training. So it becomes a little bit more challenging, but that's not to say that there aren't programs that are welcoming students to also train them too. So you just have to search to find the ones that are accepting research assistants without any research training, and then they will train you in what they need you to do. Any other questions or comments? Anyone want to share about their experiences?
Yeah, I was going to suggest here, so we do have our email addresses here if you'd like to contact any of us to discuss further. I'm happy to talk to anybody about this. And then I was going to suggest that we, Dr. Robertson, if you could stop sharing the screen and we could maybe all go on, you know, Brady Bunch view so we can all look at each other and say hi.
Oh yeah, that's what.
I always forget to do that when I finish. But there we go.
There you go.
So I know I saw a lot of people from California, someone from Guatemala, I think. Those of you who didn't answer that question earlier, where are you guys from?
I saw someone from Hawaii. I was like, ooh la la,
Oh,
aloha.
Go California.
California, yeah, lots of California, right? Anywhere else?
Denver, Colorado.
Nice.
Champaign, Illinois.
Illinois.
Orange County.
Orange County. Woo woo.
Okay.
Grand Rapids,
Yeah.
Michigan.
Rapids.
Well, remember our names, and
Brooklyn.
you're planning to visit the the New York City area. You see networking, right? You want to stop in to see what research is being done in a lab once we're able to travel, and but also in terms of if you're thinking about getting involved in research and you want to pick our brains for anything research related, we'd be happy to share.
There's a question in the chat that says, any tips for international students? I know this is a big one because
I would say for the maybe there might be a little bit of issues with the paid, right? If you're allowed to work on campus, and I know in some programs you can work a minimum amount of hours, but I would say don't let that stop you. Just go inquire and find out what your restrictions are, and just ask for the experience. Anyone else? Oh, there we go. Pathways to Science also has an international, right? Has an international student filter, so it can direct you.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing this. This is
yeah. There are. I know there are limit like REUs. You can't be international student, but there are some opportunities. I remember looking through that search to find for an international student who was asking me about that. It's really a great resource. Thank you.
Yeah, if I could pop in, I know I'm the one who came in late in this and posting about Pathways to Science, but I run an REU that is just for community college students. So I have my toe in the world. But I also recommend my students to look for ones that are funded by private or not a federal agency. They're international. So look for something that's funded like by a hospital or by an institution itself. I also know like DACA students are not accepted for National Science Foundation funded programs like the REU, but other ones, like ones that are funded by an institution like the Summer Research Opportunities Program through Big Tens can. So it is trickier for sure, unfortunately. Thanks for letting me share.
Okay, and which school are you at? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm at Parkland College in Champaign, Illinois, so just across town from the University of Illinois. And we're already set for this summer, but if anybody hears biology, our focus is phenotypic plasticity. So I run the PREX program, which is just for community college students. So I'm at a community college and then my partner is across U of I. And so it's kind of unique in that way, but it's really cool.
I think I shared that with some of my daughter's friends.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
In biology. I remember reading about it.
Yeah, cool. Thanks.
Yeah, so this is a question about emergency medicine or forensic pathology research projects or mentors. Anyone have any thoughts on that?
I was gonna say, like, when I see that, maybe they can look into PRISM at John Jay College, and then from there find affiliations with that program. But that's the only thing that comes to mind.
Emergency medicine and forensic pathology. Yeah, no, don't have anything to suggest on that one, but
That might have to be maybe looking into like a hospital setting or like a clinical research setting. And there may be, sometimes there's faculty that do that type of work too. That's going to depend on your college if there's people involved at the college, but if not, you can just go to those sites directly.
Thing that I know that some students at times do is if you just do a quick Google search for other schools around your area and look up faculty on their web pages, sometimes you can just email them and ask about opportunities and things like that, or projects, because some professors hire students to help them. It doesn't matter if they go to the school or not. It's a bit rarer than doing research at your own school, but definitely if you would like, just look up professors or faculties in other schools around your area and see what they do, see if your interests match, and just send them a quick email and ask if they know of anything available.
Traveling to other universities. I can speak for what we have been doing in our classes. We haven't been traveling at all. And because of the pandemic, we do everything survey online. But I do have colleagues in chemistry who still travel, right, to Brookhaven and Brookhaven labs and do research. I'm not sure if they're traveling to other campuses because of the restrictions and who can get on campus, especially if you don't go to the campus.
I could say for us, we're part of the CUNY system, which is City University of New York, right? So we're linked to a lot of four-year schools. And I have in the environmental science program some students that start doing research there, some soil analyses or water quality analyses. Many of them then will go on to Queens College, which is basically down the block, it's like 10 minutes away. So that's where a lot of the graduates go. And then they kind of get even a leg up on getting involved in the research labs there, because they're coming in with some experience in this field. And so their project may not be exactly the same, but it's using some of the skills that they learned.
Yeah, and I'll just add, and I've just seen the rest of the question or the comment. A lot of the community college faculty are collaborating with faculty at the four-year colleges. So the question, I should have read through it completely. Yes, you can start a project if your professor is collaborating with a professor at a four-year college, and potentially if the same project is being done at both the two-year college and the four-year, when you transfer to the four-year college, you can continue the project there. But even after you graduate, you can still be part of the project. So if you're really passionate about a project that's you started at a community college, you can see it to the end. Having the conversation about what your role would be and what you would get out of it, other than sort of getting research experience, maybe publication, getting your name on the publication may require you to stick around longer so that you can do more to get your name on a publication, which should be the goal and should be a conversation you have the very first time you sit down to talk with your potential mentor. If you're really interested in this, right? If you want to feel it out and then see if, okay, I'm really, later on you determine you're interested and you want to get published, then you can have that conversation a little bit later on too. But it doesn't hurt to ask the question, what do I have to do to get my name on a publication?
That's another great part, just about travel in general, not to do the research, but to present the research, right? Yeah. We're all meeting in Zoom land right now, but those of us, I know some of my panelists, friend here, Francesca, has been to other SACNAS conference, as have I. The first one I went to was in Long Beach, California. Loved it, fell in love with SACNAS, and that's been working, doing these things ever since. You do have, if you do a good research project, you get opportunities. We will do this again, right? We're inching closer to that time that we can travel to conferences, and what a great experience that is to, present your research and then look at other people's research, but then you're also getting to explore another city or another town that you might not have otherwise visited.
Yeah.
I had the opportunity to go to Hawaii in 2019, and it was mind-blowing. The amount of students that were there presenting. I saw many of my former students who are now in four-year institutions come back, and everything was paid for them to be at that conference. And it was just amazing. The networking, the skills you learn, it's just really priceless.
Yeah, I'll just add really quickly. I went to my very first conference outside of the country in Croatia. And to this day, one of the students that I met at the conference was still friends. So networking, right? When you travel, networking, it works. You meet really interesting people.
Someone said that something that stops them from sending those emails to researchers is lack of confidence in current knowledge. We kind of touched on that
You
a
learn,
little bit
yeah.
earlier.
Mhm.
Yeah, I had no experience in research. I knew nothing about what I wanted to do in psychology. So research definitely helps you learn that stuff. So don't be scared or nervous, or try not to be. I can't say don't, but try not to be nervous or scared to reach out to professors, because that's the point of research, is to learn. So yeah, I also went into it. I wasn't as confident as I am now when I first got into research. So I think just being curious is enough, especially in community college. No professor is going to expect you to know everything about the field that you're interested in. A lot of them understand that, like, you're still figuring it out. A lot of people haven't even they don't have designated majors. So just use this as a learning opportunity. Tell them that, you don't know much about the subject, but you're willing to learn, and they'll definitely understand that.
Exactly. And I think I want to also add something I mentioned earlier in that conversation. Don't be afraid to get rejected in a way, right? You ask for some opportunities and somebody's going to say no at one point, either because they're already overwhelmed with what they have to cover, or they already have 2 or 3 students and that's the maximum they can have. So they're going to say no. Like she said, they're going to say no, but maybe this professor can help you, right? Don't be afraid of that rejection, because all you need is one opportunity that can carry on for 5 years. Just the one yes. So who cares if you get 99 no's? The one yes is gonna be the one you need, right? So keep asking and allow the rejection to be an opportunity for a different door to be open, and maybe a better door to be open. So keep asking, and even if you try, maybe you try it and, oh man, I don't really feel it, but I don't want to leave because it's gonna look bad. No, if you don't like something, express it. Maybe I thought I had more interest, but after doing a few semesters, I realized it's not really my interest, and that's okay. And that's okay. Be open, be honest, but don't be afraid of rejection.
Yeah, it's on the job training. So just be upfront that you don't have the experience or the expertise, and let them tell you yes or no. Just say I'm interested. I don't have any background in research whatsoever. Are you willing to take me on? And I'm willing to learn.
Yeah, and just to clarify to Carlos, you can do both of those things at the same time. You can keep studying on your own time and also learn on the go. So definitely, if you would like and have the time, do your own Google search and your own research about the field that you think you might be interested in, while at the same time sending out those emails to professors. And you can even say, like, I've done a little bit of looking around, and this is what I've learned about it, and this is why I feel like I'm interested in this. And or you can just send an email, as I said before, and just be honest and say, I don't know much, but I want to learn. So both of those things can happen at the same time.
Yeah, because they'll get you on your way. If they're not ready to take you on as maybe someone who doesn't have experience, then again, they'll say, well, okay, read this, do this, and then when you're ready, you'll work with me. That can happen too. And so
and ask your sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, ask your professors also, if they say that they don't have the time, ask them, what can I do to better position myself to, hopefully have be accepted into a research kind of project later on. If they don't have the time now, if the professor specifically that you would want to work with is not doing anything, ask them for their advice for other opportunities that may be around. Ask them, who should I talk to in the department? What can I do to better, learn more or gain, just ask your professors what their advice is for future opportunities in research if the ones that you ask say no.
Yeah. And with this new virtual world, you're no longer limited to your own institution. Yes, you can get advantages from working from somebody from your college, but now you can go on LinkedIn and the other social media platforms where people are doing similar research, right? Or have similar interests. And maybe there's a group out there, right? Even meetups. Let's find out who else is interested in that. And you may not do research with them, but you can learn more from them and now go back and say, I am also affiliated with XYZ group, where you attend weekly seminars. And now the faculty member can say, wow, you're not just popping up and say, I want to do research because of the money or because you are already interested and involved in it. So, take advantage of all the resources that are around you, ask questions so that you can be familiar with what's around, because it's limitless. The opportunities are limitless.
Oh, can I add also, if you are not sure which professors to approach, that's why it's so important to attend clubs and other activities and communicate, where you might encounter other students who are involved in research, and they can connect you with their professors with whom they are working, and give you advice about the different professors who are mentoring students and getting involved with students in research.
All right, we have gone over a little bit over time, but we're having such a great conversation, which is really great. Thank you everyone for coming. I'd like to see, maybe you guys have the reactions. Can we get some thumbs up if you're going to go and approach a professor next week and ask them about doing research? Or, all right, we got a few. All right, good. Look at that. We're lighting up.
And I want to see all the thumbs up.
Raymond is partying there. All right, that's great. Or you might be in the middle of wrapping up finals and stuff, and like, I can't think about this now, but then you'll do it in the fall. As soon as you hit the ground running in the fall, get started, go right up to your professors. But it was great to see all those thumbs up. Thank you. All right, I guess.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody.
Yes, thank you. It was
Until
great.
next time in the real conference in person.